is about the time that I secretly dated my manager for a year. Say she tried to fight everybody that she thought was sleeping with him. And like over time, I was just like, I don't want that for myself, because where you make your bread, that's not where you get head. I'm just gonna involve anything that's gonna affect my money. I don't care about none of that stuff. What's up, family? It's your big sis T Renee, and I am back today with another story. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Hey, I'm hoping that one day you find something on this platform that resonates with you and make you want to come back and subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber or returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know y'all are here for a story time, and that's exactly what I'm going to give you. But before we get to that, y'all go ahead, drop down below in the comment section, leave a hey girl, hey, what's up, big sis? All comments are welcome and greatly appreciated. Just make sure y'all keep them respectful. As you all have seen the title, you have an idea of what the story is going to be about. So, family, let's get to that story. I want to apologize to y'all because I did not upload a story time this past weekend. I've been uploading my stories on Saturdays. I'm going to transition back into uploading them during the week, as y'all will see that this video will be posted during the week. My plan is to start back uploading on Tuesdays and another day throughout the week. I'm trying to figure out which day I want to do that, because I'm supposed to be, you know, I want to really buckle down on uploading twice a week for real. And it just be hard sometimes, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure y'all heard it a lot. It really do, especially when you get so wrapped up in other things. And I actually had something recorded, and then somehow I had to stop in between that recording because something came up. It just be a lot sometimes. So I'm gonna make sure I post 2 videos this week. One may be a story time, one may be something totally different, y'all. I'm not gonna guarantee it's gonna be a second story time, but your girl always got some stories to tell. But this one tonight, so y'all don't charge it to my heart. So y'all just gonna have to forgive me for that. But we're back, and like I said, this is a story time tonight. And this story time tonight is about the time that I secretly dated my manager for a year. Nobody knew that we was dating, y'all. Nobody ever found out that we were dating. Not to my knowledge. He never came and told me that somebody knew we was dating. But y'all, he definitely had a baby mama. And that lady, when I say she tried to fight everybody that she thought was sleeping with him. I'm moving a little bit fast, but I just had to throw that out there because it's crazy. He definitely had children with another lady, but she gonna come up on down the line. I just had to put that out there, because it's amazing how she looked at all these other women and never figured it was me. Like, you know, sometimes I feel like people don't expect certain women, or, you know, the boy wouldn't think that their guy would go after certain women. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times the women that they pay their man wanting to choose on be the total opposite of what they think. I'm thinking she felt like he was going to go after the young, super skinny, probably fair-skinned girls. Those girls was not the girls that he was talking to. I know, because me and this guy was really cool. So we're going to give him a name. We're going to call him Trey. Like I said, Trey was my manager. Trey was around my age, probably a couple years older. During this time, I loved my work group. I was like that girl in my work group. I was a lead in my work group, amongst others, but I was probably the one that they sought out to do things most, because I knew how to do things with my eyes closed out there. So yes, I was really close with my managers, because, you know, my manager at the time was younger than me, and things just meshed well. It's like everybody within this work group, because it was like a couple managers that would be out of this area that we worked in. You know, they had a couple managers in different little areas together, and so things, but honestly, yeah. And so we all just got along, y'all. I don't even think it has nothing to do with age. Just when you got a good group of people from 2 different work groups and everybody work well together, no matter what their part was, no matter what their role was, no matter what their title was, when you got that, things are going to work out smoothly, and it's going to make the day go by smoother. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're going to have your little hang-ups and things that happens, but when everybody's just on one accord, it's going to go smoothly. So that's how this was. And like I said, you know, I was one of the top dogs that they looked to do a lot of things if they needed to get things done. During this time, y'all, my work ethic was through the roof. I did not mind working all day and night, baby. I would go into this place at probably 5:45, 5 o'clock in the morning, and probably wouldn't leave till almost close to midnight. And I actually was like that in another area when I worked out there too, sometime on down the line. I've given a story time about that before. But yes, like, well, I'm not going to spoil. I wouldn't say over here we would stay that long. I actually would stay that long in another group doing some years later, y'all. I've given story times about that, I believe. I think it was, I think the first story time I gave was when I did voodoo on my manager, my senior or something like that. Yes, y'all. I'm going to try to link that story time. Y'all go check that story time out. But anyway, we would be working, you know, as late as they needed us to with no issue. Things were just so great over here. Like I said, I had a good vibe with my managers. Like, you know how you just got that chemistry with somebody. It ain't nothing just necessarily like physical, sexual. Y'all just bond. And that's how it was with me and him. And like I said, I knew the type of women that he would be normally going after, or they would come to him. Because he was cool as shit, you know, and he was handsome as hell, chocolate, slender. He was cool. And, you know, if you know me, most guys that I dated seriously or dated or whatever, they was always, they look different. But I'm not going to say, you know, honestly, that don't really matter. But the average person that knew one wouldn't even think that I would be talking to somebody like him, because they probably feel like I may have a little skin complexion, you know, because most guys that approached me, that dated me, were of the fair skin complexion. So nobody would probably assume, oh, she a little colorist, she won't be talking to him. Baby, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Just whoever comes to me and take me seriously, that's what it was, you know. And it was always usually those guys. It seemed like guys out there that looked like me was mean as hell to me. That's just the way things went for real. But that don't really matter. It seemed like it was a pattern, you know. And the point I'm trying to make is most people wouldn't even think that I'll be trying to talk to somebody like him. And I really wasn't. But we, you know, when you vibe with somebody, things just naturally gel and happen the way they do. But we wasn't even coming to each other like that, because I would always, you know, be cackling with him about the different women that would be coming over there looking for him. And they did not look like the women that his baby mama thought that he was chasing after. I'm just going to say that. They look more like me, or, you know, yeah. Like, so, and the baby mama, y'all, looked nothing like none of us. You know, she was real BBW. For real, she was a real BBW. You know what I'm saying? And he's, like I say, he's a smaller guy, and a lot of times smaller guys like bigger women. So this is kind of how it was. So I wasn't understanding, like, why was she assuming that he trying to talk to, for one, young ass girls in their 20s. One thing I will say about Trey, he was not for that. He did not really like the young 20-year-olds. Trey probably was what, right at 40. So he wasn't really checking for them little young girls like that, for real. You know, he was probably talking to some women in their 30s or whatever, maybe 40, but he was not checking for them type of women for real. So I don't know, but this lady used to just pop in and out of our area, come over there checking on him all day. And that's one thing about me. I ain't gonna say I didn't try to date people at the job, but it wasn't often. It wasn't a lot of people, and I wouldn't want to have somebody that I'm in a serious relationship with at the job anyway. Like, over time, I was just like, I don't want that for myself, because I've seen crazy things happen. And I'm like, I do not want that. You do not eat where you shit. I'm just saying, you don't, where you make your bread, that's not where you get head. I'm just saying, you don't do that. That's just something you don't do. But it's people that worked out there that were married, and I don't know how they made it happen, but I also know people that worked out there and was married and had a whole relationship with somebody else out there as well too. It's just the luck of the draw shit. I've seen some crazy things out there. But anyway, like I said, you know, we was all cool as shit. It started with us all hanging out outside of work and just kicking it and drinking it, because that's what we used to do. We had this one spot we used to go to every like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. It was called La Fogata. And I think, you know, it was just me and my manager and our little crew in one way. And then him and some of his folks started coming to where we were, and we all were just kicking it, you know. And then one night, like I said, we all drinking. They buying us shots of shit they weren't supposed to be. You know, you don't supposed to buy your employees alcohol outside of work. Y'all can hang out, but y'all do not supposed to buy them alcohol. But it did not matter because, like I said, this particular group of people, we was not on that. When nobody on that, what happened where we were is stayed where we were. Except for that one time I told y'all, we was hanging with some people from another work group, and they went back and told everybody what was happening. Like, I was like, yeah, we can't mess with nobody like that. You cannot hang out with people that's gonna bring what we do outside of work back to work. Y'all bitches are weird. But anyway, so yeah, it started out with that, and then he just started dancing on me or whatever, and then I mean, I guess we all were just feeling the vibe. Next thing I know, he kissing on my neck, y'all. Y'all know that feeling you get when somebody is kissing on your neck, what it does to your body. And at the time, I wasn't even dating nobody, y'all. I was talking to this guy, whatever, but I wasn't really dating nobody. And what's crazy is the guy that I was talking to was working in the same area. Like, he worked for another manager, but our areas was like, our work groups like work right across from one another, so we would see each other all the time. And me and him used to come in real early. It would be me for my group, him for his group, and we would just set up our areas, you know, get the stuff started for our work groups or whatever. And you know, that's kind of how that was. How we got to know one another. We would just started hanging out outside of work a whole lot, and we just. I don't know. We were where we were. I'm not going to say we was in a relationship, but we definitely were talking. And then it was times he'll be like, all right, man, if you talk to other guys, which I'm sure you do, because he just thought I was just so outgoing, so popular, so cool. Everybody loved me, and they did. But he don't know I'm really an introvert. And I don't know, people just respected me because of how I was at work. You know, I did what I needed to do. But it don't matter. He would just say stuff like, just make sure I'm the number one dude. You choose me. See, I don't like men like that. Like, don't worry about nobody else. Worry about you. And don't make it sound like you insecure. Try to choose me. Don't make sure you choosing me over them most of the time. Like, don't do that, baby. Be confident about your shit. Be confident that, hey, I'm the only one. And show me that you want to be the only one. And see, when you don't want to show me that you're the only one, then you're going to see me talking to others. But one thing about it, like I said, nobody knew that me and Trey was getting close. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know me and Trey was getting close. It just sort of happened one day. And so we're going to move kind of quick because y'all, I don't really want to drag it. So me and the guy that I'm telling y'all about, I think I gave him the name. Where did I get that boy the name? I think I gave him the name Otis. So me and Otis had some little situation happen where we was starting to have problems. Otis was a complete liar. Like, Otis had all kinds of stuff going on that I didn't really know about it. I kind of was finding out about, even though he was telling me some stuff about himself that I felt like he may have had a pattern of doing this. Like, it was one time where he had some girl, he got pregnant, and I don't think his folks really liked her, or he was a little shallow. I don't really think she was his type. They just kind of like, you know how you just get close to somebody and then they said it's somebody your type, and then he ended up getting her pregnant, and then turns around, he was talking to somebody at the job that we were at the time. He got her pregnant, and he would be rotating them out, and they somehow he got caught up, and they found out about it. It was a lot, you know what I'm saying? And so during this time, I used to hear rumors about him. Otis was talking to this little young chick out there, got her pregnant, and supposedly he don't know if that's his baby or whatever. And my thing is this: you could have told me that this is what's happening to you. You could have said, hey, I got this situation. Yeah, the rumors are true that, you know, that's an idea, hook up with her, XYZ, and this is what's going on. I would have been more understanding. But the fact that you try to play in my face, and then how you go from just talking and cackling with me, we hanging and doing the most, and then your pattern changed one day out of nowhere, you don't say nothing to me at all. I think it was like Christmas Day or something like that. And I don't like that. Like, communicate with me like, hey, I'm going to be spending time with my family. I just want to say happy holidays, whatever. And that's that on that. But the fact that you didn't say nothing to me all day, but it turned out the last baby mama that he had, he still was like really close with her, kicking with her. And I don't think they was in a relationship, but they was hooking up. She was always around. And it's crazy how men try to hide things and don't be truthful. But baby, I am a whole goddamn detective. I'm going to find out everything. And I found that all out. He didn't even tell me, so I knew. But it don't matter. So we was going through some stuff, you know what I'm saying? The thing about it, we weren't in a relationship, but it's the fact that he could have kept it so 100 with me, because I'm always keeping it 100 with people. I'm letting you know straight up, you ain't the only one I'm talking to. But if you step up and put out there that you want to take me a little more serious, you want to have a real relationship, then we're going to move from there. So it was just a lot of drama with there. We had some stuff, we had some legal stuff going on outside of that. And so I was in a situation where, like I said, we was just into it real bad. And during this time, I was like confiding in Trey about my situation. And Trey was like, God, ain't never. I said, man, we ain't, I was just telling him stuff. He was like, man, I can't believe it. That man acting crazy. He acting XYZ. Because we was like really having situations to the point where, it wasn't necessarily messing up the work that we were doing, because me and this guy had to work together at times, you know what I'm saying, because we had to get the workload out there to get it shipped out and stuff like that. So, and I told her at the time from another story time, the manager was like, he was jealous because I was talking to the Otis dude, and I guess he figured it out because he would see us leaving together. I don't know, I guess he felt like he just put two and two together and was trying to say, oh, she ain't been the same, Tang ain't been the same, whatever they got going on is affecting her work. One of it affected our work. You didn't even know we had nothing going on. Nobody knew that we and him was into it, that we was having serious stuff going on until something else jumped off well on down the line. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I wasn't really trusting Otis. So, I was confided in Trey a little bit more, and we just started hanging out a little bit more. And then one day, like I said, we had a real big blow of me and Otis or whatever. And Trey was like, well, I'm come over, then, and bring you something to drink and bring you some food. Cause I was just really feeling the way. And he definitely came over, and he did bring over some alcohol, because at the time I definitely was drinking, and we were just sitting in my room drinking. Yes, y'all, we were sitting in my room drinking. We should have never been sitting in my room drinking, because I don't know, I guess we both just really needed whatever we was going through. We just needed comforting, because y'all know what happened. I ain't even gotta say what happened. It just happened. And honestly, I always feel like at some point it was going to happen between us, because that tension started growing more. Like that sexual tension, that energy started growing between us. Like we would be real freaking flirty. Because, we started hanging out in groups a whole lot more. And then he would always just be all up under me or whatever. And, I saw it, but I wasn't paying too much attention to it, because I was really trying to focus on Otis at the time. So I wasn't thinking too much about it. You know what I'm saying? But, one of my homegirls was like, girl, he always up under you. Man, you the baby mama always coming around, and then he's tucked up under me. But again, she ain't thinking that I'm somebody she need to be worried about, because she thinking he trying to talk to one of the little young chicks up in there. And yes, mind you, he's a manager. But them folks don't care about that out there. If they like somebody, they gonna like somebody. They gonna hook up with whoever they want to. It's supposed to be under the wraps, and you don't supposed to do it. You're supposed to get, consequences behind it. But if ain't nobody saying that, because nobody really give a damn, we're human. People are gonna like one another. They're gonna fall for one another. They're gonna have these desires for one another. I don't give a damn what you do. That ain't got nothing to do with me. As long as it don't involve anything that's going to affect my money, I don't care about none of that stuff that y'all got going on. So who am I to tell what somebody's doing? I don't care. That's on you if you get caught up. So yes, like I said, she was just always there trying to watch. Girl, you cannot watch without your man. He's going to be around other women. He's working directly with a lot of women. So, girl, I don't like when women do that. Like, girl, my thing is this. If I don't see it, I don't know about it. And if it comes to me, it's because it was supposed to come to me. But I'm not going to look for it. It has to literally come stare me in my face for me to find out that you did XYZ. I'm not looking for it, because I'm telling you, I guarantee you, when you dig, you find what you're looking for. And then it may be a whole lot worse than what you thought. And now you up here snotting and crying, it can't work. I don't want to be snotting and crying, it can't do my job because I'm in my feelings about my dude. Girl, no. So I never understood that with women, girl. And if you feel like that's going on, find you another dude out here. I'm just saying something, baby. Don't put all your eggs on one. And then it's just your baby daddy. Like, y'all never got married. Y'all ain't moved beyond what y'all had. And 9 times out of 10, they be still possibly messing with the baby mama. Not all the time. Because I know some men could give two shits about their baby mama. But they be the type of co-parent they need. But they don't want nothing to do with them. And it's understood. But you got them few that they do what this lady was doing. And I won't even get her name. We just gonna call her BBW. Because she definitely might come back up. So BBW, which is Trey's baby mama. Like I said, always popping in and out. He all up on me. And he's literally like rubbing my arm and stuff. But again, she never confronted me. She never kind of said anything with me. He never came back to me about her thinking that I'm the one he talking to. And he used to tell me about the situations that would be happening, the women that be calling, and she saying, you know, trying to figure out who he talking to at the job, because he definitely was, you know, talking to some other women out there. I mean, I'm sure he might have hooked up with some others, but I definitely was the one that nobody really knew about. Yes, not even Otis. Nobody, not even my closest homegirl in my work group. You know, nobody knew that we was what we were, y'all. But so that definitely happened that night. And like I said, from that moment on, we hung out a whole lot more. And then I think Otis was like, dang, you talking to somebody else a little more serious, because, you know, the time that we would be spending, the time that we'd be talking, it kind of dwindled off with us. Because, dude, I know you got all this going on and you would not tell me. And then it came to a point where me and Otis had a real big blowout. To the point, like I said, we had to get the laws involved for some stuff that happened or whatever. And so me and Trey was like heavily kicking it for real there, because I definitely had times where I was like, you know, really in my feelings, and of course crying because I got stuff going on. I got to deal with this man and all this drama. So I'm, you know, very emotional during these times or whatever. And I'm not going to say he was taking advantage, because it definitely was not like that. It's just that, you know, we just kind of like bonded on some shit, you know, trauma bonded a little bit about some things, and which is terrible. You should never trauma bond with somebody. But honestly, I felt like it was deeper than that, because we was cool as hell before we even thought to even get into a space with one another like that. So, like I said, at this time, we had been talking for probably 6 months. Nobody really knew anything. Nobody knew it all. But it definitely was a time where I felt like my homegirl was kind of like curious, because she was like, girl, did you say you going to go? What's the name with Trey? Like, she was really picking and prying. I'm like, girl, we just going to go get this and that, because we both have a love. It was somewhere we was going. We both liked the place, and we both were just like, hey, we're going to go here. Because, you know, I said, he just looking out because, you know, I got XYZ going on. That's what that was. So, very close to getting caught by my homegirl, because she was nosy as hell. But I said, girl, you know, I talked to what's the name? We just going through, I talked to Otis. We just going through some stuff right now, girl. I said, no, I'm not going to do Otis like that. Lying through my damn teeth. At that point, I was like, fuck Otis, girl, because Otis can't do nothing for me. Me and Otis ain't even on the level that me and Trey was on. Like, we really was close, for real. Like, I really was digging him. I couldn't let him know that I was feeling him like that. Because for one, he had all that drama with the baby mama, something I ain't trying to do. Hell, Otis had baby mama drama, but his baby mamas are older, but not really, because he still had this little 20-some-year-old that he didn't even know if that was a baby. But y'all, when I say that baby looked just like Otis, that is definitely his child. Now, you know, of course, I've seen the baby years on the line, some time on down the line. Definitely his baby. So you waited to use in your 40s to have another kid. Oh no, you know, it ain't. But my thing is, it don't really matter. It's the fact that you couldn't even be 100 with somebody that you want to take serious. Like, you was doing all this extra, like, oh my God, I'm so happy I got close to you. I got to know you. I feel like this could really go somewhere. Like, y'all, he was really on it. And I don't think he was trying to sell me no dream, because I wasn't really buying it, but I don't really think he was trying to lay it on like that. I genuinely felt like he felt that way, because I felt that way. How me and Trey got, that's how it was between me and Otis, but Otis was a liar. Otis was lying to my face. Otis could not keep it 100 with me. So I couldn't understand it. Like, how you go from, oh, I really feel like this is going to be something, and like really putting in the effort, showing that he actually genuinely liked me and want to move a certain way, to you just one day out of nowhere would just ghost as hell, and then just wouldn't communicate with me. And I really felt like the time that he was ghosting me, or, yeah, you know, the time that he did start to do that shit, is when he found out that this actually was his child. And I don't think he knew how to approach it with me. Because him and the girl went together, and he was still messing with that last baby mama of his. And so I just really feel like he didn't know how to be honest. I don't like coward ass dudes. Tell me what you got going on and let me decide how I want to deal with you. How you don't know I wasn't still going to be messing with you? You didn't even give me the opportunity. So yes, y'all, it was just so much there. So it's crazy. Like, and yes, that baby mama of Trey never really found out about us, y'all. I got her Trey. Did I got him Trey? I got him Trey. I be calling him Trey, y'all. I'm special as hell. So yeah, she still never found out it was me. Like, she would be going so hard. Like, she actually assaulted somebody. Well, we was out somewhere. Like, the work groups was out somewhere. She pulled up, y'all, with somebody. She pulled up with a couple of her girls or somebody. I don't know if they have girls, family, friend. It don't really matter. She pulled up and it was a whole lot brawl, y'all. All out brawl. She pulled up and she lunged at this one girl. Honestly, this girl definitely had been talking to him though. Like, he did talk to her. Matter of fact, well, he was smashing on her, and she was a little cute, little petite girl. She wasn't a little young girl. She was, a little. Of course, she was she was in her early, like, she was probably like right at maybe 29 or something like that. It don't really matter. It's the fact that that one time I felt like he was talking to some little real young chick, and she wasn't a thick woman or whatever, but she wasn't skinny, but she wasn't like most of the other women that he was talking to. And she lunged at this girl, this BBL woman in her 40s, trying to attack this 20-something-year-old girl. And I'm just sitting back grinning because I'm like, find out I'm the one you really need to worry about, you know what I'm saying? And I know that's so messed up, but I don't owe that lady no loyalty. Yeah, she used to speak and joke and laugh with me. We be in that little area, she be over there chilling with us, me and my manager and everybody else that, was cool with her dude, her baby daddy, because he ain't her man. But I'm just saying, it don't really matter. I don't owe that lady nothing. But I was just sitting back laughing like, this is crazy. And see, that's why nobody can ever know. Because I don't want no parts of this. I don't owe you anything. You cannot get mad at a woman talking to a man. And so that let me know right there, the fact that she did all of that embarrassing to herself. She did all of that night. That let me know that he was still possibly messing with her. Like, sleeping around with her. Because women don't act like that unless they really, did. Well, I ain't gonna say they don't, but 9 times out of 10, they still got some type of tie with this man, and not just being the mother of his kids. It's usually something a little more deeper. So Trey could have been selling her dreams, saying we're gonna get back together type shit. And he just didn't tell me, baby, he didn't want me to judge him, but baby, I'm not going to judge you anyway, but I already know the stuff that you had going on. But maybe he just didn't want me to know. You know what I'm saying? Because they have history. They have a bond for real. A bond I feel like we was kind of like forming or whatever. But baby, I'm not trying to be nobody's baby mama. I'm not trying to be none of that type of stuff. I really don't want anybody to even know I talk to you for real. So that lady literally tried to fight everybody but me, y'all. She never found out that I was the one that she should have been worrying about. Yeah, I just had to give y'all this story time because I saw this person outside recently, and all that stuff just started coming back, and I had some fun times with this person. No one always knows sexual stuff, but I'm just saying, like, this was one of the guys that I was talking to that I actually genuinely liked. And again, he was my manager, so nobody needed to know that I was talking to him. He was my manager. We both could have got in some situations. You know what I'm saying? Hell no. And we was that close. I could see it was a manager in another area, but no, we right up on each other every day. Right up on each other every day. Flirty as hell. He groping me and nobody even paying us no attention. Like, yes, y'all, he really would like just do some stuff like this to me, and nobody would be paying no attention to what somebody might have saw. I don't really know, but he literally would just be brushing up on my chest and shit. I don't know. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna stop this right here. I hope y'all stay for the duration of this crazy work drama. About the time that I was basically my manager's sneaky link. Nobody knew that we dated for a whole year. Like, we really was actually dating for real. We were going out on dates and doing different things. So I call that dating. Yeah, I really call that dating. And he was a guy that I actually felt like I was friends with first. That is so important to me. Like, I have to be your friend for real, because it would be times that we don't even we don't get along, but if I like you, I don't mind being around you. You know, that type thing. And it's times where I had guys I talk to, I can't stand their ass. Like, how did I even see me talking to you? I don't like you as a person. And so you never wanted to be that way. You wanted to be to the point where if y'all was to separate, y'all can be cordial and y'all can see each other out in public and it be no hard feelings. You know what I'm saying? And you genuinely be happy for them in life when things are going great for them. And, you know, you have some type of compassion for them when they're going through a struggle. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to stop this right here. Y'all drop down below in the comment section. Let's chat. All comments are always welcome, as I always say. Just keep them respectful, because I definitely will block and report you. And if you're going to make another page, I'm going to do the same to that one. Because y'all are weird as hell for real for that. But anyway, y'all, Also, make sure y'all continue to hype these videos. I love y'all for that. Y'all are helping my channel to continue to grow. And I hope my new subscribers stay in return for more content that's to come. I love y'all so much for those that show loyalty, especially to the people that are subscribed to my channel that, you know, pay that little fee every month. I love y'all so much for that. And I definitely got something coming for y'all. So y'all come back. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye. To catch up on any prod story times that were mentioned in today's video, make sure you click the links in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel.